What's up, you two? You are trying to pick up Balanced Druid, aka Moonkin, aka Boomkin, aka Star4. I'm going to give you a very quick rundown of what a Moonkin is, what the hero talents are, and we'll just go over some gameplay and just show you why Moonkin is super strong, and some tips and tricks of Moonkin. So as you can see, I've hit 2500 this season. We've nearly got all of them timed, and if you're moving over to the Moonkin, I hope you are enjoying it as much as I am enjoying it. It does insane damage. We got our Starfall got buffed, our Star Surge got buffed. So in Mythic Plus, we have a verse buff that we can give, which is Mark of the Wild, and we have a battle res. So if someone dies, you can battle res them at range. And the biggest thing is, look how good you look. We just hit the dance, and look at the dance. So again, I appreciate everyone being here. We're just going to go very quickly about Moonkin, the talents, the playstyle, and hopefully you enjoy the video. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that jazz. But if you don't, that's all right. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you on the next video. I have a few of the Mythic dungeons to upload, and we'll put them up there as well. So let's start the video. Right. The basics of Moonkin. Basics of Moonkin is you have builders, you have spenders, and you have dots. So the main thing is you have a dot called Sunfire. So Sunfire puts a dot over 18 seconds. If you are talented into Improved Sunfire, it puts it onto all enemies within 8 yards. The next dot that you have is Moonfire. Moonfire does arcane damage over 22 seconds. If you are talented into Twin Moons, it puts another Moonfire on another target. So what you want to do in an AoE situation is you want to have all your dots up on all your targets, and don't let them drop off. If they're about to drop off, you can refresh them at 4 seconds or under, or at 0. Any time between 4 and under, you can refresh them. But generally in Mythic Plus, with a talent called Ethereal Kindling, you won't ever need to do that. So what I'll show you, so we press my Sunfire's on 4, you press 4, Sunfire goes on all the targets. You press mine's on 3, Moonfire, it'll go on 2 targets. Then just click another target, Moonfire again, and then Moonfire again. And what happens is every time you press a Moonfire, you get some Astral Power. I'll talk about Astral Power is afterwards. That's pretty much the main thing. Keep your dots up on all targets, and don't let them drop off because they're huge damage. So like I said, you spend, you build, and you spend. The other things that you have are this thing called Wrath. Wrath just heals a target of nature damage at a single target. The next one is Starfire, which does arcane damage to all people within 8 yards, but it's reduced beyond 8 targets. So what will happen is when you use 2 Wraths, you will go into this thing called a Lunar Eclipse. So if I press Wrath and Wrath, you go into a Lunar Eclipse. Lunar Eclipse means your arcane spells do 15% extra damage, and your Starfire does 30% more damage. And then what will happen is once this drops off, we will go into the thing called Solar Phase. Solar Phase, which pretty much your nature damage does 15% damage, it's pretty much reverse, and your Wrath damage increased by 80. So these also generate Astral Power. When you have Astral Power, as you can see here on my bar, which you can't really see, but I have it in my middle here, it says 120. I have 120 Astral Power. What you can do is, you have 2 spells. One is Star Surge, which is, let's go here, where is Star Surge? Star Surge does astral damage at a single target, and it looks like, I'll do it on this, shoots just a beam. A nice little old beam. The second one is called Starfall. Starfall will hit in a huge radius, and if you are playing Ethereal Kindling, it will just add on seconds to those dots. So as you can see here, if I press that, Sunfire, Moonfire, I have Astral Power, I press Starfall, you get a couple of seconds, and you press Starfall, you get more seconds, and it just does damage, as you can see here. So that's all it is. You have some builders in your single target, which is your Wrath. You have your AoE, which is Starfire. You have your dots that you keep up, and then you have Star Surge for your single target. And then you have, I'm just going to build some natural power, and you have Starfall for your AoE. That is what Moonkin is. And then during that, you have a couple of cooldowns that you can use, but that is the basics of what a Moonkin is. What we're going to go through next is the hero talent and the spec tree, because it sort of changes the way that you play Moonkin. I wanted to say what Moonkin was previously first, before going in and talking about Keeper of the Grove. So what I want to talk about very quickly is the hero talent before we go into talents. So here, Keeper of the Grove is a talent that I recommend. You can play Ellune's Chosen if you want, but Ellune's Chosen, for me, the ramp time for to do damage is a lot longer. Whereas Keeper of the Grove, you have like some instant damage and it's very, very fast. So I'm not going to talk about Ellune's Chosen. That will be for another video. We're going to talk about Keeper of the Grove. And this all goes around this thing called Force of Nature. So when you press Force of Nature, you get a buff called Dream Burst. So I'm just going to press it here, and you have 3 stacks. When you Starfire or Wrath a target, you will get an explosion on around them. So if I go here and I just press Wrath, you see that green burst? That is called Dream Burst. It just does damage to a lot of targets. So when you press your Force of Nature, you get that, and also 8% extra damage to all your spells. So this is very good to use at the start of your opener when you're ramping, because when you press Force of Nature, you're going to get huge 8% damage, which also includes the Dream Burst procs. And what I was meaning about the start of the ramp for in Mythic Plus, which I'll show you in videos later, is when you press, remember how I talked about Sunfire, it puts it on all targets. When you press your Keeper of the Grove, each treant will press Moonfire. And because you're running the talent called Twin Moons, it hits 6 targets at once. So your opener looks like this. You can Wrath again into your solar phase because you want to do more arcane damage. You can press your Sunfire to get all the dots up, and then press your treants. What will happen is your treants will just put Moonfire on, and then you can start into your Starfire AoE damage. Don't worry about the phase, but you can just go into your AoE phase and build Astral Power, get 8% extra damage, and just pump straight away. So that is what your opener pretty much is. The rest of the talents here don't really change too much of your playstyle, but those are the main things. You get your Dream Burst, you get your Moonfire from your treants, and you get 8%. So every time you have a treant ready, make sure you don't hit Moonfire, because your treants are going to Moonfire for you. So when you Moonfire, you can just press your spells and get everything to Moonfire and just go into damage without needing to do anything. And this is why I like Keeper of the Grove more than Ellune's Chosen. So this is mostly about Keeper of the Grove here. And again, super fun because you just go into your ramp. We have like 5 seconds. What you also want to do at the same time is you have another button called Incarnation of Illune, which you just get 10% extra haste and crit. So what you want to do is you want to Wrath, Sunfire, treants, and because you've hit treants, you get 8% extra damage, and because you're doing Orbital Strike, which does a bar and does extra damage, so you're getting the crit off that, you're getting the haste to make your dots hit faster, and you get 3 extra Dream Bursts, which can crit because you're using Incarnation of Illune, and you're just doing a lot of upfront damage and a lot of sustained damage as well. So Keeper of the Grove is the play for me for Mythic Plus. If you need some tips and tricks on that, there's not really that many. One other thing that you can do as a Keeper of the Grove Moonkin is you get those 3 stacks of Dream Burst. if you cast Wrath or cast Starfire, and then immediately press your Force of Nature, it automatically can proc a Dream Burst. But so I'll show you. So if I'm casting Wrath and I hit Force of Nature, it before it hits the target, you have the stack, and then that Wrath hits that target for all the Dream Bursts. So if they're already stacked, you can do that. But generally, I would say not to press Force of Nature straight away. If your tanks are pulling mobs from, say, the tank's pulling mobs here, pulling here, and you don't want to, you want them all to hit together because you want to maximize your Dream Burst stacks. And then when they're all together, you can press your spenders, your builders, to proc as much Dream Burst damage as you can. And it does a lot of damage as well. But that is pretty much the basics of Keeper of the Grove. Mythic plus Keeper of the Grove. There you have it. This is the spec. I'll put the import down below. And what I'll do is I'll quickly just go over some runs that I was doing and just quickly pinpoint some play styles that I think is very, very good. So this is a 10 Arakara that we were doing. We were farming trinkets like everybody else is. So I just want to go over like my thought process on what we're doing between pools. So this is the start. So what happens is, if you know where your tank is going, you want to figure out when you're going to pop your cooldowns and everything. So we know that the tank is going to go all the way down. What we can probably do right now is, because they have the aggro, we start sunfiring all targets. Get these sunfires out as much as we can. We're pressing some moonfires, I believe. Yep. And then what we want to do is, so we've gotten sunfire nearly on all targets. What we're going to do is we've pressed our Force of Nature, as you can see, which to give us a 8% extra damage. And then what we'll do is we're going to press our Incarnation to put those dots up. We've missed a couple of targets, but that's okay. We can always press them. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to hit Starfall. Get those ramping. They're not all clumped up together, so we're putting dots in between. As you can see, we have those 2 Starburst procs that I haven't used yet, but I've pressed my Convoke. And when you Convoke, you can use Starfire and you can use Wrath as well, so they can instant proc. So pretty much just trying to get as many get dots up on every single person that we possibly can, and then pressing Starfall. We've missed some. The best thing to do is press your Sunfire again or press your Moonfire, because you want those 3 dots running to do 6% extra damage because of Waning Twilight. So I think we're going to lust here. I don't have any cooldown, so as you can see, so we're sunfiring everything, getting Sunfire up on everything. We have Force of Nature ready to pop to start moonfiring all the targets. So I press Moonfire on one target, and here I think I press one more Moonfire and then Force of Nature. So I have 110 actual power, 101 actual power. What I'm going to do is I've pressed my trees to get the 8% damage, and they're going to start moonfiring all the other targets. So I don't have to do that anymore. And now what I should be doing is I should be getting to I should already actually be in Lunar Eclipse. But what I've done is I've done it the other way. I should be in Lunar Eclipse and then using Starfire to proc the Dream Bursts on here. But I guess this is a slower round for me. I played this a bit wrong, but you can see what I was doing. And here we're propping Dream Burst stacks on all of them because they're all targeted. And then we're just pressing Starfire, Starfire, Starfire. When we have enough actual power, we're pressing Starfall, getting those damage out, making sure we put those dots up. There are some new ads that came in. We're putting those dots up and pressing Starfall. What I wanted to talk about is when you're doing boss fights. The boss fights are... we'll go to the single target boss fight, because when you're playing a multi-target boss, it's pretty much exactly the same. You're just putting your Sunfire up. So this is the second boss. So what we do is what my opener is I Wrath, Sunfire, and then, like I mentioned, your trees put the Moonfire up. So we'll just play it from here. We're killing this mob. Can I speed this up? I can speed this up, which is really good. Alright, so again, we're just getting the orbs, getting that orb, refreshing the dot for the mastery. And here, alright, so boss is going Wrath, so we Wrath, get into to Luna. It doesn't really matter because we have all our cooldowns coming up. I'll actually slow this down. So we Wrath, Sunfire, put that dot up. We put the tree down. As you can see, I'm pressing trees. Trees have gone down. Next thing to do is, because we have all that damage, we have the buffs, everything running, we press our cooldown, our incarnation, to get the increased haste buff. And then what we want to do is, because we are capped on astral power, we want to send all of them into single target star surges. Boom, boom. Once you have used all your astral power, what you do then is, then you press your little convoke button to do a huge single target damage. You won't be doing as much single target damage because you're not playing single target build, but this is a very, very good way to open up in terms of damage. So single target is the same thing. Wrath, before the tank pulls, Wrath, Sunfire, trees, Incarn, spend all your astral power on Star Surge, and then your Convoke if you're playing Convoke. If not, if you're not playing Convoke, then you just press Wrath, pretty much. So there it is, Moonkin 101. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you want more tips, I stream at twitch.tv/Akesy if you want to come watch me pump some keys and whatnot, and Mythic Raid. But till then, we'll probably do another video on Elun's Chosen, because it's another spec of Moonkin, and I'll get some recordings and all that kind of stuff for it. So till then, again, if you like, subscribe, leave it a message, and peace.